So, hey everyone. So, welcome back to my channel. Let me run through a bit. Now, I had a few weeks off, so I decided to make a video today. So today I am going to uh, talk about the changing world, the second marine edition. Nope, we are not going to talk about the changing world. We are going to talk about the economics. Okay, so let's go to the economics subject. So I'm not going to actually talk about economics and business both. These two are the things that I'm going to talk about. Let me tell. Okay, I'm telling you an important business strategy that most companies are ruining through. So this strategy is used by many restaurant companies and some other things. I noticed that there's a flaw also in this thing. So what the plan goes like is like this. So the plan is that restaurant companies and for example Walmart are gonna take advantage of how their media works. So for example, let me tell you. Now people tend to not think about the basics of something. So for example, on restaurants they don't care about the basics. They only care about the things. So this is what you don't need to think about. So for example, whenever you heard of a 5-star restaurant, you take it over from a 3-star one, but it could be actually worse than the 3-star one. You don't need to actually think about the stars. It's how it works. No, not this is not the trick. Let me explain. Now, what do you think about? What do you think about first when you think about a restaurant? Do you think about the basics? Yeah, these are the things that I'm talking about right now. But let me explain. You care about others' opinion. So, for example, if the others people give it a 5-star rating, then you're gonna actually take it as that it's a great rating. Because if you don't think about it, just so let's now talk about this. Okay, we are gonna call this guy money per time. Let's call it. So let's say a company like restaurant. A restaurant decides to uh, decides to get more market share. Market share is, as you know, if you learned on economic class, how much things does that thing sell? How much that company products sell? They sell products. So Apple has 20% market share. Samsung has a lot of market share because they sell a lot of products. So that's why these are market share is deciding the thing. Okay, but market share is not always actually the thing that you should need. Now there are two things that should make your restaurant great. Number A, quality. Number B, quantity. Quantity is quality, as Stalin said. Just kidding. Now let's go. Okay, so let me explain. Now, quality is all about how great that product is made, but quantity is way different. How much that product has, how much that product is how much that product is produced. So, more quantity always equals less quality. Yeah, bad Stalin. So, what we are talking about is if those chefs take more quantity, then they are gonna take lower quality. So we know that. But firstly, what people depict, people want both to be great. So medium amount of restaurant is the best you could think about. So for example, if that restaurant gets perfect market share and everything is perfect, then they can increase their money per capita. We are gonna tell no money per, what is that called, time. Okay, we are telling that per day they have 1 million customers around the globe. no, around California, let's say. So people are gonna think that they have more, a lot more a lot more power than another restaurant, a lot more better than another restaurant, which which actually has the entire USA but has a lower per lower popularity on this one, money per time. So let's say people are going to depict these things that money per time has, they have less profit, they must have bad things, like more people have more people like this restaurant than that one. But you are losing one important point. This guy only has California restaurants, but this guy has all of the USA. So that's like a third of the population of the USA. So it's kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair because if you notice, they give restaurants over the entire US, but these use over much of the entire California. So what we are gonna say about this, but this could be also accidental sometimes. So for example, Walmart gets out here, and a competition of restaurant actually gets on California, so they're gonna think that they're gonna be better than Walmart, unless Walmart was so bad, that is, and not so much popular, that is. Yeah, so this is how this trick works, but it could be also accidental. So we need to be careful about it, not think that it's always a sneaky technique. It could be sometimes accidental. Competitors can do it. Number 2 technique I'm gonna tell about is that as soon as these guys are thinking, these guys actually go off. So these guys stop business, and now they take the entire America. They don't have any competitors, so they decide. Now this is where we get to the bad part and the downfall of this. Right, these are the flaws. Let me explain. Okay, so as soon as it happens, competing is actually great. So you might be now saying, wait, competing is bad because competing just slows the development down, right? Nope, it's wrong. Let's say firstly Android phones get the 120 hertz display, and then iPhones get it. If iPhones didn't have any competitor like Android, then they would have lately found that a 120 hertz display is possible. Competing is good, duh. So these are the things. The second tactic I'm going to talk about is actually that of popularity weights. You might have heard of money per time that I have told already. So money per time, let's say one guy has more money per time than another. It's kind of related to the old one, but it's not as much. So let's say it's connected to the old one a little more. So here's when it's starting to get a little bit harder to understand, because let's say money per time, the time is a day. So let's say they got as much profit as about $17,000 per day. So they got that much dollars, and this much money is where the gambling starts. So what happens is people are gonna see that they have more profit, and more people are attracted to them on their products. So they decide to go there and fool them more. This is the thing, because we don't want to take risks. We don't want to take risks because human beings evolved to not take risks. Otherwise, we didn't got that much dominant. So companies are essentially taking advantage of our evolution. Wait, never heard that before. I thought companies and evolutions are always bad, except when they are genetically modifying companies. So Let me explain. So they're taking advantage of our evolution to get this much things, and eventually people are gonna depict this guy as much bad than this company. So let's say this, but this is not the only tactic that's sneaky, a lot sneaky, because if you know, prices depending on how much different things we talk about. Let's say a tissue price will be about $1, but a smartphone's price will be $1,000. So they generally have a less, tissues have a more popularity than smartphones. So here's when we get sneaky. Let's talk about a real life company, LG. Let's talk about LG. Now LG's pricing method is really bad according to me, because the thing is that they degrade over time. So money and their launch date will be, let's say, $1,600, and then a few 2 years later it will be almost let's say it goes a few months later, and then it will be only about $500. So it goes down by time. That's where the flaw comes in. Now this might think like it's great because consumers are gonna come, but what consumers are doing is, I don't want to buy this on $1,600, so let me wait a few months up till it goes to $500, and then they throw it again, a few more months, and a cycle goes again and again and again and again, up till it goes to a negative profit. I'm calling it negative profit, which essentially means the company needs to give you money, not you need to give it, and at this point it's unsustainable. So no profit equals this product is not unsustainable, or our market share, we just flop it down, we discontinue it. So this is the problem. Let's say two real life products. I like experimenting though, so I like experimenting on risks, etc., on companies. Don't take me wrong, but just see what happens. Well, let me explain. Now LG's tactic, they have two very recent products, the LG Velvet, which was about just 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, and the LG Wing. Now these two, one of them have a T display, which I really like, and another has a dual screen case, the LG Velvet. So this should create a lot of hype, right? Well, because of its pricing method, not so quite. Now this pricing method is used by many small companies, so you need to talk about this pricing method. So as we're talking about LG, now people want experimenting phones for much less, so they essentially wait 2 years up till it becomes unsustainable, and then forget to buy it. So what you're essentially doing is limiting yourself to the reviewers who are actually going to recommend this device to others, and that's not great essentially. So that's why LG's pricing method is just destroyed. However, once we go to about above the 1600 range, it goes even deeper. Well, you see, our minds can't take high numbers. So for example, let me explain. Okay, let's talk about a flight. A ticket number, let's just say that there's American Airlines, which charges you $1,300 to get one seat on a first class. Okay, you want to take the first class because it's greater than the economy, so you take that. Or this also works for the economy, so we are not going to take. But if you go to the economy, then there's a dual seat offer, so you can get a dual seat for 3 seats for $1,700. Remember that. That's the important point. And then there's Air France, which is paying you $1,500 for one seat on first class. But on economy class, there's another deal that you can get it for $1,900 of $1,900 as a dual seat. Now, essentially, they're both copying, but I mean, copying is the bad thing, as we talked, because it essentially gives higher level of technology, as we talked on the 120 hertz things before. So copying isn't actually bad. So they copied them and then give them from a higher price. But Air France has much more good things on its page and greater reviews. So essentially, you don't notice the basic necessities and etc. and click for the dual screen trap, and then it essentially becomes a marketing strategy. Now, American Airlines has now literally is going bankrupt on that journey, so it discontinues it. This is the problem happening on economics. So bye bye everyone. So it was a long lesson, longer than normal. Bye bye everyone. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like and share and subscribe, and also click the notification bell.